In this video, I wanted to show you some of the most golden tips in how to make your pitch presentation stand out amongst everyone else. Number one is remembering that a pitch doesn't have to be a monologue. A monologue being you standing up on a stage or in front of one person, 5 people in a boardroom, just reciting, regurgitating whatever it is that you are pitching. It can be a dialogue. So using the people in the room, the people in the audience, as part of your pitch and presentation. I'll give you an example. One of the best pitches I've ever seen is a founder who had developed this device that actually attaches to a child's pram that rocked it to sleep. It was a little gyro and it rocked the pram so the babies fell asleep. Brilliant, right? So he could have gone up there and pitched the product in whichever way he wanted, but instead he used audience engagement. He turned his pitch into an interaction with the audience. Now this has a multitude of benefits. 1, if anyone's sleeping, you wake them up. 2, you're developing a relatable link between you and the audience. So in his case, he went up and he said, his opening line was asking a question. Raise your hand if you're a parent in this room. So say half the room raise their hands. Keep your hand up if you've been kept up or you've not been able to sleep by your children not sleeping. You know, there's a little chuckle in the room. Everyone who raised their hand keeps their hand up. People who haven't raised their hand know the same problem. Now, all of a sudden, you've got this relatability with your audience, right? He's connected with his audience. At the end of the pitch, once he'd gone through the product, I have the same problems, told the story. At the end of it, he said, now, raise your hand if you raise your hand at the beginning of the session. So everyone raised their hand, half the people. He says, keep your hand up if you would buy one of these. Most people kept their hand up. Then he said, investors in the room, there's my customers. I'll talk to you afterwards. And finished. Wow. He interacted with the audience. He broke that barrier, which meant his pitch was remembered. His product was remembered. He came across as charismatic. Something I always like to say is charisma gets capital. You don't have to be a charismatic person, but if you present and you remember that a pitch is a performance, you will come across in an engaging way. Like I said before, passionate people. Well, that's not how I say it. How do I say it again? I forget my own comments here. People love passionate people. That's what I say. It's true. Would you prefer to see someone present on stage, monotone, boring, recited, one monologue, or would you prefer someone to get you involved, right? So that's a top tip on how to make your pitch stand out, is interact with the audience. Remember, the audience is your friend. They aren't there with a gun to their head saying, watch the pitch, clap, applaud. No, they're there out of choice. The audience is your friend. Use them. The more you interact with them, the more chance you have of them remembering you, remembering the founder that stood up amongst the others that actually asked us some questions, that broke that imaginary barrier between stage, talk, listen. No, let's interact. Let's have a dialogue, right? Golden tip. Now, apart from that, there are other things you can do. You know, you can ask the audience questions, you can ask this half to raise their hands, you can pose it in different ways, split the audience, however you want to do it. Also, you could stand out by doing different things. Now, using another example, a really awesome startup called Choose with 3 O's, it's Norwegian. They had a product that was, relatively non-tangible, right? You couldn't see it, feel it, really, it was a platform to buying carbon credits. So they thought of a brilliant way to make their product relatable to an audience. They used props. So using props are a great way to stand out, tangibly connect your product to the problem, to the audience. So this founder stood up on stage with a massive pink balloon, and he did his pitch and he did a great job, and the pink balloon was there as a visual cue to show the quantity of carbon monoxide they could save for you buying their subscription model. But everybody would remember, or specifically, no one could forget the guy standing up on a stage with a pink balloon, right? Brilliant. Using props to interact with your audience. Now, I've seen other founders do this by him or her giving away some kind of freebies. You're putting a QR code on one of your slides to get signups, and always remembering that the audience is your friend and that a pitch is a performance. So give the audience something to remember. Another one is quite simple. Wear something memorable. There's a reason that startups, founders tend to wear startup branded clothing. It's a cliche, right? You wear your startup.io t-shirt, company colors, logos, branding, but there's a reason for that. It means that you are connected to the brand, to the color, to the logo. They connect the person with the business. So if you do something that's memorable and investable or interesting, you can be simply, oh, there's the guy or girl who pitched that company, I remember, yellow logo, this, Or wear something memorable. So I've actually seen founders pitch in unicorn costumes. I mean, it's a bit cliched, but still, if you're at a pitch event, hopefully not too many do this, then it isn't as funny. Wear something memorable. I've seen founders dressed up in funny outfits, wearing safari hats and throwing them into the audience because it had a sort of red thread into what they are doing. But it's a simple one. Just do something memorable. Using props, like I've said. I've seen another founder walk up with a stick, and they said, imagine so many thousands of these. This is how many we have, in the fields, and there was an agriculture product. I'm doing a terrible job of what it was, but that founder used a prop to make a point. You can do this with the size. You can show a box of something and say, imagine a football field of those. This is the leakage of sewage into the oceans, right? Another one is simply to use humor. Don't take yourself too seriously. Use a humor, make jokes, make fun of yourself, be self-deprecating, make fun of the product, make fun of the problem. Bring some entertainment and humor value to your presentation. You're more likely to be remembered. You're more likely to stand out because remember, investors and people in the room, they're pattern matching, right? They're looking at your presentation, trying to evaluate whether you've got traction, how good is your team, the timing. So they're doing these pattern matching things. So if you can present all those things they're looking for in an entertaining and an engaging way, people will remember. They're looking for that aha moment. How do you want them to feel? These are things that can really help you to make your presentation so much more powerful, get engaged with your investors or whoever you're pitching to, and you are more likely to achieve whatever it is that you wanted. So on that note, I'm going to finish this video here. First video I've done in over a year. Hope you got some value from it. My name is Matt C. Smith. Please go and like and subscribe to the video. Well, you can't subscribe to a video, but like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. I'm almost at 5,000 subscribers now, which is pretty cool. I think I'm quite close to that. So please do that for me. And hey, hit me in the comments. What kind of videos do you want? I'm going to go on a trend now for a little bit around pitching and presenting because firstly, that's really what my bread and butter is, pitching and presenting. But I'm noticing that a lot of those videos that I've done are really getting strong traction. So thank you for watching. Big love. Like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video soon. Oh, and one more thing. Have you ever thought about standing out in a way that breaks that barrier between physical and digital? What do I mean by that? I'll explain. So most pitches are either done face-to-face in a room, a boardroom with some investors, or in a live big stage audience, or even digitally, right? And there's not much of a footprint left after that, right? If you see that person, hear that person pitch, it's done in front of you and then we'll follow up or we'll send you the presentation. How often do you leave something physical where they can actually take that with them from there and then? So I've seen startups be quite smart about leaving something behind with an investor in a meeting or even with a customer in a meeting. And I'll give you an example of something that I've done. I wrote a book. There are books and there are books. It's a cartoon illustrated startup buzzword dictionary. It's got a bit of humor, character. It's super unique. And I leave that as a bit of a calling card with if it's a new client or whoever it might be. And it is the best way to stand out amongst your competitors or just stand out in general and be memorable, whether it gets you the deal or not, the investment or not, or whatever you're seeking. It's something that leaves a mark. And my book being this pink startup buzzword dictionary, I would leave it with people when I meet them the first time. And whether they kept it on their desk for a day or two or a week or forgot about it, threw it away, gave it, re-gifted it, it still was something that was there as a memory of our meeting and our event. And I guarantee you it's got me deals going forward. In fact, it's actually got me people buying the book who said, look, this is fantastic. Thank you for the gift. I want to buy 5 for my team, or in one case of one company, 150 of those books for an event that they did that they hired me to talk at. So doing something different, leaving something with the person you meet, whether it's a sticker, do something that's useful though. something, instead of just sort of like, I've been gifted so many startup t-shirts that I've ended up throwing away because I don't like to hoard and collect loads of random things. So don't give people something that they're not going to use, they didn't want. So give them something non-invasive, whether it be a sign up to the product, something that would at least be on their desk that's preferably not creating more issues for the world. Maybe let us know in the comments if you have any good ideas of something that you could create to leave with investors that would be non-invasive, complimentary, even if it's literally a silly little book. Obviously, bear in mind that it costs money, so you can't go make 1,000 copies of the book that I did. I made 2,000 copies of that, and I wasn't doing it for that intention, but let's crowdsource some ideas below of things that startups could do that are cost effective, that could leave a mark, and not share it with too many people. Otherwise, everyone will do it, and then we'll just be inundated with smart startup pitches. Anyway, cheers. Okay.